I'm going to present briefly our work about creating digital community in our small town Wraca. What I will be mostly talking about is the co-working space, but before starting with the co-working itself, first I want to spend some time to let you know a bit more about the context of where we are. So Wraca is a small town with about 50,000 people population. It's close to the capital, Sofia. And before we started the co-working space, there is some story behind it. So we started developing digital industry in the town since 2014. And we started with organizing different digital courses and events. And the idea behind this is that when we started, we used to have, a long time ago, we used to have some big factories in the town, but they were all gone since the beginning of this century. So there were not enough good job opportunities. So we decided to start this initiative of developing digital industry. And it's actually what Wraca software community is doing. And when we started, there were quite a few people working in the digital sector in Wraca. And what we believed when we started in 2014 was that this sector provides good opportunities for people to work for clients from all around the world. So people can have, as we say, challenging and well-paid jobs from here. And that's how we started the Wraca software community with organizing trainings and events. The first year were tough, but luckily we got some companies, software companies, opening offices in the town. There were some people who graduated the courses that we were doing. So as time was passing, we started to have more and more companies and people working in the digital sector. So we had this small community, and this actually led us to the next step that is actually providing a common space for all this. So we can move to the next slide. Actually, can I change the slides or?
Yes, you have to change the slides.
I can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, now I see how. Yeah, thanks. Okay, yeah. So this is so far. We had the courses, the events, and then the businesses that came, and that's how we got the need of creating a common space for all these. And this is how it started. So this is Wraca software community. So the mission of our organization is to build the ecosystem, the whole ecosystem that includes the digital events, the trainings that provide talent for companies, and then attracting businesses, attracting companies to open offices in the town. And so far in the co-working space, we have two software companies. These are the first two logos here, and one digital agency. And then we have freelancers who also work from the co-working space. The idea is that having the co-working space allow us a couple of new things. First, it's easier to attract companies because we have the trainings where we provide talent and new people who have required skills. And then, of course, the next question for companies is if they will open an office in Wraca, where they can start, and the co-working provides an easy option so they can start very easy, and once their team grows, they can move to a separate office that's just for the company, but they have the first step that's very good for the first couple of years. of opening a new office. And also the other thing is that we managed to group the small companies that we have in the town, so they can help each other, because the digital sector has lots of opportunities, and there are different niches, different sectors below it. So we have digital marketing experts, we have software development. Soon we hope we will have some companies working with quality assurance. So usually in one project, there are different companies working on it, and it's very good that this happens actually. The companies that are in the co-working, they help each other and they exchange customers, let's say. So if a software company is running a project that needs digital marketing, they have such partnership, and it works the other way around. So the companies help each other in their work, exchange clients. So I think it's very good for the whole ecosystem. And some story behind the co-working itself. Since the beginning of the whole organization of Wraca software community and developing the digital industry, we were supported by the Wraca municipality. So they provided a free space where we were providing the trainings. We call this the IT center, where we have training room where we do the trainings and some of the small events. And for the co-working, we took a room that's just next to the IT center. So they are at the same buildings next to each other, which helps a lot. And the municipality provided the space for the co-working space, but of course we had to do some reconstruction because it's a former kindergarten. So we did some reconstruction, and we started officially the co-working at the end of 2019. And actually we started it a bit before the whole reconstruction was done. So we had some finishing reconstruction that finished about March 2020. And we were just about to start the active marketing campaigns, etc. And we all know what happened then with the COVID pandemic. But regarding building the space and what we needed to start, we needed about 13,000 euro for the initial reconstruction, and then about 10,000 euro for the equipment. The equipment is very simple, so we have just desks and chairs, some Wi-Fi. So we don't provide technical equipment for people who are using the space, which is the most common practice for co-working spaces. And because we are a small organization, we had to look for funding to get this all done. So we had some funding from America for Bulgaria Foundation, who are also supporting our trainings at Wraca software community. We had support from one of the software companies. It's a bigger software company that's in the co-working. Also, we did some crowdfunding, and the municipality provided the space. And here are some short statistics. As I said, we didn't start at the most appropriate time for having such initiative. And so currently there are 3 companies with about 15 people in their teams total. Over the last year, we had about 40 people visitors, and actually it happened mostly last summer. For about 3 months, there was less measures regarding the COVID pandemic. we hope that soon we will be able to have more visitors, because that's one of the ideas. And we had 4 events that were just in the beginning. So it's not quite impressive, but we hope that this will change once the pandemic is gone. So our main target groups for the co-working space. So at first place, these are the local companies and freelancers who are from Wrocław. Then we have another group that are companies from the capital Sofia, which is close to here. And then, of course, we have some freelancers who are just digital nomads and are traveling, which we believe that will help enrich the ecosystem here in Wrocław. What we have technically in the co-working, so we have 25 working spaces, parking, and because Wrocław is a small town, we are very close to the center, to the train station and the bus station. And of course, we already have this initial community of companies and freelancers who, sorry about the slides. So we have the initial ecosystem of companies and freelancers who are working. And once you start working in the co-working, you get into this ecosystem. That's one of the ideas. So we don't provide just the space. The idea is that we also have this community and partnerships that are beneficial, and we are looking for win-win cooperation of the companies and the freelancers who work at the co-working space. And because I already mentioned the pandemic a couple of times, maybe I can share briefly some story about our initiative that we had during the pandemic. Because there were a lot of businesses here in Wrocław and the region that had to start working remotely. And some of them didn't have the required experience and didn't know what tools to use. For example, how to organize their work so they can work remotely. And for example, how can they communicate with their team? How can they organize the work, share files, etc. And since the people who are working at the co-working space used to have this experience long before the pandemic, we had this initiative for we gathered from one side small companies and businesses who needed these skills, and then we had some volunteers from the freelancers and companies who work in the co-working space who wanted to share their experience of working remotely, because usually that's what they do. So we did this, and we had a couple of companies that we managed to help reorganize their work so they can do it more effectively online. And yeah, I think it's mostly common what happened during the pandemic. So we had a time that the whole co-working was closed. And the way that we survived this period, it's good that one of the bigger software companies that's in the co-working space, they managed to keep their tax for the co-working, even though they were not using it. But last month it's much better, so we hope that in the near future we have more success and more stable like business model for this. And as a future plans, of course, we are planning to have more events with the local ecosystem. to attract a couple of more businesses, and to continue supporting the local businesses, not only for with initiatives like the one during the pandemic, but like long-term digital help for the local businesses. And of course, we're looking for more people who will join in the ecosystem. And basically, I think that covers most that we can share about the co-working. So I'm also open for questions.